Hello, hello, welcome to another brilliant music go round. We're still doing the Beatles. It's a good one. It's the one I've been waiting for. It's the best one, isn't it? We've got to agree it's the best one. It's the 26th of May 1967 and Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, clocking at 39 minutes 36, and of course produced by George Martin. It is, well, it's just the best. It's the best one. That's it. We can go home. I'll just leave. No, I'm joking, because we talk about these things. Well, I mean, crikey, this album, even I didn't realise it was probably, it was in our lives. It was in our lives back in the day, because the Beatles were important, and it's the songs, isn't it? It's like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and with a little help from our friends, those songs that, when I'm 64. Again, if you were a kid in the 70s, like I was, your school teacher was invariably an old hippie, and so we got to sing many of these songs as part of our music lessons. And so, like I say, we had the Beatles. The Beatles were always there, and Ralph McTell, Streets of London. Oh yeah, I had to sing that one as well. But yeah, I mean, I remember hearing it as a whole back in, or when would it have been? 1987, when it was reissued. I guess it was the 20th anniversary. I think they brought it out on CD for the first time, and at that point, my maternal grandmother was working at the local school I used to go to, the junior school. And one of the teachers there was looking for a copy, because they know I like music, wondered if I had it. I didn't actually have it, but I got it, and lent it out to the teachers so they could play it at school. And that is how I got into the album the first time around, via the 1987 reissue. So I would have been, crikey, 16 at the time. And of course, I knew the album. I'd heard it. I must have heard it. It felt like I knew the album. Mainly because those damn hippies, those hippie teachers making us sing for our lives back in the day. But yeah, I mean, it represents so much. I mean, firstly, it represents the album as art form. Before this, I don't think albums really pushed that far. The album was just a means of delivering songs. Again, you've got to think back. Singles were the big thing. Everything was a single release, the singles charts, and the album chart was almost, it's the inverse of what things are, or what went on to be. And so albums weren't regarded as that important. It was always what was in the pop hit parade. And so here the Beatles, they take the album and they create something else. It's a concept album. I know people argue about whether it is or not. The actual concept is, it's not the Beatles. Again, sick of playing live. They can't play live because everyone screams over them. They're sick. They're trapped. They feel trapped. And so they reinvent themselves as Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and that's who's on the cover in those uniforms. That's why the Beatles, they're putting the past behind them on the cover. Again, Peter Blake cover. The cover was incredibly expensive at the time. I think it was one of the most expensive covers ever made, back then. But there they are. They're recreating themselves, and it allows them to free themselves. It allows them to tell a story. It allows to be very playful with everything. Opens with, of course, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which they introduce themselves. Classic riff. Hendrix, the following night after the release, goes on stage and plays it because he loved it so much. He plays it live because he was so in love with the record. Great riff, and it's just to say, look, we're not the Beatles anymore. We're Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. We hope that you enjoy the show. What a statement! And then that goes straight into, again, they segue I always think of the little ridey on things now. It's terrible. Peter Gabriel going across stage on a little ridey on thing. Games Without Frontiers. With my friends. Ringo Starr sings it. I hate this song. I think it's because of Joe Cocker and his version, his strangulated, overwrought version, and also those damn dirty hippie school teachers that used to make us sing it. Much more fun is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which is based on a picture that young Julian drew. What's that, Julian? Why, it's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. I believe John. And again, it's just an amazing piece of production. Again, this was done on a 4-track recording system. Just astounding piece of recording. Then getting better is more of a traditional Beatles kind of track, what we've seen before. Fixing a Hole is McCartney doing the vocals on that, and it goes back to, again, it kind of harks back to some of those older, like I'm not saying it's a direct riff of Eleanor Rigby, but it has that same kind of maudlin feeling about it, and Yesterday, it's McCartney doing that. Talking of maudlin, that brings us onto She's Leaving Home, which is an exercise in maudlin. But again, these young chaps, it's an amazing bit of writing. The separation angst of the child versus the parent. The child wanting freedom, the parent wondering, what they've done wrong, and you can see both sides of the equation. I think it's one of the most powerful songs. It really isn't a powerful, and again, even as a youngster, it was, again, but it's tinged with that kind of kitchen sink drama, that familiarity, the play for today. Again, this for people outside the UK, they might not know, and people of a certain age are only going to understand what I'm talking about. But the literature of the time that dominated the TV and films. You can just go and look for yourself. Just pick a British film from this period. Like I say, they called them kitchen sink dramas. Taste of Honey. They did a cover of that. Rita Tushingham. Was it Saturday Night, Sunday Morning? That was another one. Loads of these kind of dramas, and I think it kind of filters in to the lyrics and the writing of that song. But again, a great piece of work that tells a complete story. And then we mix it up by the benefit of Mr. Kite, which takes its line from an old Victorian poster advertising a circus, and it is this is purely an exercise in production. The amazing way that they do looping, it's all loops, and an amazing piece of recording. You might not like the song, but you've got to give them credit for the actual production and how they make it all fit together. It's amazing. The one weak track on the record is When We Turn It Over, Within You Without You. Don't get me wrong, I like Harrison's Eastern mystical sitar stuff, but it goes on. It's the second longest track on the record, and I just find it a little bit. It tries me. Do you know why? Because I want to get onto When I'm 64, another one we were forced to sing. It's a joyous celebration of old age from young people, And now they are. They're older than 64, and they're still doing what they're doing. And I bet that must have felt like a lifetime away when the song was written and put down. But again, it's a wonderful bit of, I don't know, I guess you could call it jazz. It's got like jazz leanings to it, isn't it? The old clarinet. I think's all over it. And then again, we have lovely Rita. Only the Beatles could write a love song for a parking attendant and pull it off, because they're the most despised people on earth, aren't they? People that are giving out parking tickets, but they managed to do it. They managed to write a love song for a parking attendant. They should have followed it up with one for the taxman, but they already did taxman, didn't they? They couldn't do it as a love song. But again, it's the humour. It's the humour, and that Liverpudlian humour, and being English humour in general, end of the pier kind of stuff that you come to appreciate. And again, I always wondered how that translated, how that went across the Atlantic and everywhere else. And then we're going to Good Morning, which I see that as being it's almost like it gets you ready for a day in the life. I mean, they could have run the track listing and made. I always thought Good Morning could have been part of a day in the life, because it feels like it's part of the same collection of songs. Good upbeat track. We have a reprise of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band again, which leads us into the heart, the nub, which the whole album revolves around, the Beatles, and it's telling a story. It's a story. There's so much. It's very literate. You've got to look at the various quotes that are in it, the lines, and where they've come from. How many holes in the Albert Hall? You've got there's a lot there to digest, but the Beatles just wave it through. It's all there, and then it brings the album to an end with an amazing, almost apocalyptic crescendo. Amazing stuff, and you'll never forget it. And then you have the little run out bit at the end, which McCartney said he put on there because when he was at a party and a record was on, you couldn't always hear when the record was ending, when it had gone off, and so the needle would just be going round in the locked groove, and so he put that there so it would like kind of cut through the crowd noise, and he could turn around. That's his story. Whether that's true or not, or they're just having a bit of a laugh with us, I don't know. But what an album! Great record. From the cover by Peter Blake, which again is iconic and has been riffed upon, as Zappa did it, because he wasn't a big fan of the Beatles. He thought that they were kind of exploiting the movement, the hippie movement. I don't know. I don't get it myself. I think he was just jealous because they were better than him. A bit of the green eye there. And also the sleeve, it's the first to have the lyrics printed on the inner sleeve in the actual record, which is, when you think about how long the long playing record has been around, it seems, why hadn't you done this sooner? So that was revolutionary. Also there's pull out bits and that, so you could dress up as the band. It was an expensive package, but boy did it deliver, and that's why we're still talking about it today, and that's why when there is an anniversary of it comes around, people make a fuss about it. It is a remarkable record. Okay, you might not like it, you might not think it's the Beatles' best. I do. I think it's the peak. That was where they was aiming for. Bang. And they got there. And so it scores easily 5 A Day in the Lives out of 5. 5 A Day in the Lives out of 5. And that's that. And it's an amazing, wonderful record on which we can all agree. Thank you for watching. My name's been Darren Locke. I've been talking about probably the greatest record ever made, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Originally released way back in 1967 on May the 26th. And yeah, what can you say? It's just brilliant, just pure brilliance. That's it. There's only one more thing left to say, and that is ta-da!